Oh, right. Well, with the rise in popularity of the old Warhammer, people have gotten more into Warhammer than ever, and that's for good reason. Warhammer 40K and Warhammer Fantasy are fucking amazing, amazing IPs with some of the coolest sci-fi and fantasy we've ever seen. And the world and universe is brutal and brooding. And yeah, it's just such a cool fucking universe that, of course, anything cool, that crowd has to come right after and make a name for themselves in it. And we've seen this happen to Warhammer, and luckily with the Warhammer IP, it's such an amazing franchise and so immortal that nothing they can really do will ever actually harm it. But that doesn't mean that that crowd won't try, and they've certainly tried with Warhammer 40,000, a franchise I've been into since '95 and have tons of models and experience in. So let me weigh in on this. And I've also made the Halls of War map pack, a fucking incredible map pack for Dawn of War 2 that many thousands of people have enjoyed and played over the years. Warhammer has always been a male dominated space, with the face of Warhammer 40k being the space boys themselves. Hardened alpha soldiers bred for one purpose only, to destroy the enemies of the humanity and face all kinds of alien and evil horrors. But the unfortunate truth of today's Americanized world, there is a whole bunch of companies that pump money literally into companies to make them woke, to make them diverse, to make them stupid. And one of those companies, unfortunately, BlackRock, holds a massive share in Games Workshop. I never really had too much faith in the Games Workshop brand. I'd walked into a model store a couple of years back and it just completely changed to some type of corpo nonsense. When I was a kid, I used to walk in a Games Workshop store and it was full of all kinds of nice things, a million things. But the modern Games Workshop has been very streamlined, very corporatized, very streamlined with its products, and it seems intent on removing what made the original Warhammer IPs look and feel go away and usher in sort of the new age of Warhammer. People are quick to point out the fact that there was once female space marines, but the truth of the matter is they were a model set and it just didn't sell well. And it's just kind of like it was a new budding idea, and they decided, you know what, women are not going to be popular as the space marines, the ultimate force. So is it really impossible to make a female space marine? I mean, the 41st millennium is so vast and expansive with an unimaginable amount of possibilities. Anything is possible, right? Well, the answer sadly is no. It is impossible to make a female space marine. Not only is it impossible, but it's improbable, because in the dark future of the millennium, they wouldn't waste time with things like, wow, representation for women, or yeah, we're going to do this just for the sake of being nice to people. This is a brutal futuristic world where the death is everywhere, and to even try to make a stance for what is right, the emperor is just going to do what's best for humanity. They're not going to do anything fuck people's personal feelings. I mean, like, come on, use your fucking logic and head. And there's plenty of characters in the Warhammer 40k universe that are female, including the Sisters of Battle. They're used for thousands of cosplays posted all over Warhammer forums every day. And while the relationship these women have with their fathers may be questionable, the Emperor certainly appreciates their wonderful cosplays. The greatest thing about the Warhammer 40,000 universe is that the lore and world is permanently and fixated on what it was and what it will always be. No matter what bullshit Games Workshop comes in with, they're going to put females Marines in. They're going to put stupid bullshit about this, that, and the other woke bullshit. Because yeah, I mean, unfortunate as is, it's a massive IP. It's been infested with DEI. It's been absolutely it's been absolutely invaded, and all the troons of the world have definitely made a stab at Warhammer 40k. Because I mean, let's face it, it's just such an awesome, manly thing, and apparently in 2024 you can't have awesome, manly things anymore. So of course these fucking idiots have to come in and try and do shit to it. Perhaps the most egregious of examples of this invasion comes from the Troon armies quick to get a jump on a manly man thing and draw them as anime characters with big breasts and mummy milkers, and the Femstodes announcements certainly put these idiots into full swing. I mean, these anime retards would turn anything stupid and weird, but at Warhammer it seems like just the right one for them, doesn't it? They just love the fact that it's a cool thing and that you can't have your cool spacemen anymore. Isn't that funny how these motherfuckers operate? Isn't it? You know, they sit around drawing their absurd, stupid bullshit all day. Just utterly obsessed with weirdness. These people are, and then they think they somehow get an advantage over other people by fucking making it lame and stupid like they are. And there was very quickly a certain crowd of people that didn't even exist 5 or 6 years ago that all of a sudden are huge Warhammer fans, so-called tourists. But you know what? For them, they're not tourists because they can just paint a bunch of stupid colors on a fucking marine. It's you gotta hand it to them. The level of ridiculous stupidity of people is sometimes almost admirable. And what seems to be concerning is that Games Workshop actually seems to be supporting this behavior, and I would only imagine this is to keep cashing in those sweet DEI checks. And you know what? The truth of the matter is with Games Workshop is if they didn't whore their license out to anyone who with a paycheck, they probably wouldn't have been around for very long because their models weren't selling for years and they were losing fucking shitloads of money. They will attempt to tamper with something that is already written in stone with books and lore written from decades of people coming up with awesome imagination to attribute to this franchise. But you know what? That's the coolest thing is that it's gonna be awesome no matter what these fucking idiots do to it. And there are gonna still be many iterations, and there are many iterations today. There are many different things Workshop is doing that is making it just a little bit stupider day by day. Now, possibly the most controversial and eye-rolling of these iterations was the fact that Games Workshop suddenly backtracked on everything the lore and logic of the universe would have told us about the Warhammer 40k units and said, no, guess what? Female custodes can exist. Why? Just because we said so, and it's right, and there should be female marines. And they made a absolutely cringy ass CGI cinematic with the stupidest looking woman ever donning power armor. Oh, it's fucking funny. And you know it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. They're gonna make a female marine. They're already chalking it up to it. They're already playing with the ideas of gender in Warhammer. And you know what? In the dark future, there is no like nobody gives a shit about this. There are way more pressing things to do than proper representation. And you know, like you could just tell they make everything about this cinematic they made was just to own the chuds, so to speak. Look at the way they make the one marine look angry that there's a female custodes. You know, it's they think we're fucking stupid. And what they're going to do is continue making all kinds of playing into the culture war. And ultimately, Games Workshop, whatever they fucking doing with their franchise right now, it's just going to get more and more stupid. But that's the best thing about Warhammer is that no matter what they do, it's always still going to be cool. They can't ruin it. Like, there's nothing that these fucking idiots can do. So, no, Space Marines can never be women. And the reason for that is that the Emperor chose men, builds them into the warriors and basically superhumans that they are from scratch. And the Emperor would never choose a female just for the sake of being nice to people. Space Marines are basically superhuman mutants, and they have a very strict code of male ethics because every single character and blah 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 from the last 30 years is depicted as male, and it probably talks about it in 1,000 different books, and people will try and construe 1,000 different things from this, but the ultimate truth is no. And anything that Games Workshop comes out with is just going to be a laughing stock, just like we've seen in anything from video games to movies. They'll do it, it'll be stupid, they'll try and destroy these franchises, but like Star Wars and so many others, it's still cool, you know? Like, it's just a cool world, and it's very believable. Space Marines are only men,